College Football 26. That's right. We're going to be talking about the EA Sports college football video game coming out here in just over a month's time now. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what I would like to see from that video game that comes out again in July. And then we're also going to discuss USC and their 2026 recruiting class that's currently ranked number 1 overall. Will it stick around? Is Lincoln Riley on to something here? We'll talk about all of that and more here coming up on Armchair Analysis. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and all the support over the month of May. This is not the last video of the month. That will be tomorrow's video. Already planned out, really excited. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification icon. It'll let you know as soon as that video goes up. And also, you're going to want to make sure you stick around because starting on Sunday, June 1st, Florida State football preview, full 2025 season preview comes out, and it kicks off preview season where we preview exactly every single Power 5 team for 67, 68 straight days. We include Notre Dame in there. I'm super excited for it. Really, really pumped to get it all underway. And again, it all starts on Sunday. So make sure you stick around and make sure you're here. You can find it at 1 p.m. Eastern here on the channel. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get into today's topics. My goodness. But kicking it off, this USC recruiting class in 2026 currently sits tops in the country, and they're out front by a good margin. Why? Well, because they currently have 26 commitments. And, I don't certainly buy into the idea that USC is going to have the number 1 class in the country. But it would be really silly to think that it's not going to stick around. Now, they seem to be on an every 2-year cycle over the last 6 years, where they'll have a class in the top 15, and they'll have a class that's really kind of poor. And they'll have that class in the top 15 or even top 10 at times, and then it'll be poor again. Currently, they sit with an average rating of 91.29 per recruit. Currently sits 10th in the country. Do I think that's where they'll cycle out? More than likely so. I think maybe I'll go out on a limb now and predict at worst 15th. I'm going to say 10th currently. They are in this situation. They have 26 commitments. They've lost a couple. They've gained a few. The biggest thing with this class is that Lincoln Riley took a different approach this time. Get them in bulk. Whittle it down. Let it thin itself out. Thin the herd, as they may say. I know that's from a totally different thing. I'm sorry, but that's kind of what the goal was. And again, this is a team that over the last 6 recruiting cycles up till 2025 has had 3 of 6 be top 15 classes, and the other 3 have been really nowhere in sight. There's been one class that's been 17th. The others have been below 50. This USC team needs, I think, to have this class be good. And I think they're on the right path. I don't see this class falling below top 15. But they currently sit with top 10 classes in only 2 of the last 6. What do I ultimately think? No, not all 26 are going to stay. I think they will end with 25 or more. But I think it's going to be kind of guys leaving and then opening the door for somebody else to jump in and be a part of this program. Lincoln Riley is attempting this thing where he gets the program out of the Southern California circle that they've kind of built themselves in. And rightfully so, because back when it was successful, the Pete Carroll era and prior, that Southern California area was rich, and all they wanted to do was go to USC. They wanted to stay in the area. It's not that simple anymore with the way recruiting works and the way social media works and highlight reels and all that stuff. It's made it more difficult for USC to really keep the local talent in, and they've never had to truly go out of their area to recruit. Yeah, they've been able to pick through Texas. Sure, they've been able to pick through Florida a little bit. Maybe they've been able to go get the East Coast guys that want to come out west. Sure. But at the end of the day, they've never consistently done it at any time in their existence. And now is the time, it better than ever, the NIL era, to go out and truly make a statement and place your mark on the sport that, hey, you know what? Yeah, we normally stick to the home groups of Mater Dei and Bishop Gorman and everybody within a 3 to 4 hour radius. We're not doing that anymore. We're done with that. We're gonna reach out to Florida. We're gonna reach into Texas. We're gonna reach into Georgia, Ohio, New Jersey, and we're gonna pick just the same groups that everybody else on the East Coast is doing, and we're gonna attempt to bring a title back west of the Mississippi, which has not been done since I believe USC did it. So, well, maybe no, since Texas did it. Sorry, but in doing all of that, it creates it creates this idea that people have in their mind where, oh, this class isn't going to stay, or there's people who are on the other end of delusion where they say that this is going to be the greatest class USC's had in 20 plus years, and Lincoln Riley is going to save his job with this recruiting class. And I don't know if that's particularly the case either. I don't know that he's on the hot seat. What he did last year at USC, year one in the Big Ten, was more than anybody expected. A team that was physical in the trenches and a team that hung around defensively with anybody they played. And they did a really good job of that. They stuck around with Penn State. They took Michigan down to the wire. And towards the end of the year, they were a team that probably could have won some of those games looking back. The brand of USC transcends the sport, transcends college football. It is a brand that is here to stay and has been here to stay for as long as it's been relevant, and that's probably been since the mid 70s. I don't see this changing. I don't really see this class just falling off a cliff like some say, but I don't see it being number one. I just see it ending as a middle of the road, not even middle of the road, a top 15 class, which is just as good as a top 5 right now if you're USC, because you haven't seen much recruiting success over the last 6 years. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think USC's class, does it stick around? Do you guys think that USC Lincoln Riley is going to be able to start branching out beyond just this Southern California bubble that they seem to be stuck in? Or do you think it just goes back to the same old same after the 2026 cycle? Let me know in the comment section down below. What I'd also like your comments on is this next topic, and that is college football 26. Everybody's in the EA Sports college football 26. There are some things that I love about college football 25, which was, of course, last year's iteration of the game, the first one since NCAA 14. Why is it so popular? Why is it so much better than Madden as a whole when it genuinely plays like a Madden game? Well, let's talk a little bit about this, because I don't fully buy into it's just another Madden or it's just a Madden clone, but I also don't fully buy into it's its own thing. I think there are similarities and I think they're built off of each other. But there's one thing that truly set college football 25 above everything else: immersion. And the immersion in the game is the stadiums, the way the crowds interact, the way the players interact, the way that the recruiting set itself up. And granted, it's not my favorite thing in the world, certainly, but it's also not the worst thing ever. I really liked it. What I ultimately would love to see is building off of that and improving things, which it sounds like has been done. What I've seen, at least, is improvement within the commentary, which was something that wasn't necessarily bad, but it was something that they intended to change and work a little more on and get more excitement behind the broadcast, and I think they've done a good job of that. But there's other things that I think need fixed, and let's talk about the bad before we get into the good, because I have plenty of good to talk about with this game. The bad was simple, and we already know some of this is going to get fixed. Road to Glory, of course, is going to get the high school element. We know that, and we know we already saw the NFL draft advertising of the transition from high school, college to pro, and how that's expected to be implemented within the series. But the bad is really set on the field, and that's what translates from Madden the most. My biggest complaint is the quarterback fumbles. Now, I've been playing a little bit more recently. As a matter of fact, since I talked about UMass a couple days ago, I don't even know if I talked about it on here, but I was in a conversation about UMass and how they are 26 and 130 something since they jumped up to FBS. The worst team, averaging 2 wins a season. They are a win shy a season of the next team in line, which is Kansas, funny enough. So I jumped in, I started doing a dynasty with UMass. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But what I've noticed, still, a little less though, but I've still noticed quarterback fumbles. And they fumble when they're contacted with any solid amount of force. Now, if you're good on the sticks, I guess is what they call it, you can kind of create a worse angle and worse leverage for the defender where you don't fumble, you don't trigger that fumble animation for the quarterbacks. But it feels like anytime I run and have significant contact with a defender downfield, my quarterback fumbles. And it's really frustrating. And I know why they did it. They did it because of Lamar Jackson's, Kyler Murray's. And what Madden was having happen was players were utilizing the quarterbacks in unrealistic ways. And I get it. I understand why you want to do that. However, for somebody like me who plays Dynasty and really Dynasty only, it doesn't really make sense. It kind of takes away from being able to run. If I want to scramble with my quarterback, I should be able to read the pass rush and be able to scramble and not worry about fumbling. And I know there's going to be somebody smart ass in the comments, and I don't blame you. Well, just slide. Sure, I can do that. But you point out to me how many times Jackson Dart slid last year. Point out to me how many scrambling quarterbacks are willing to just drop down and slide. Sure, they'll try to get out of bounds. They're going to try to make somebody miss. They're going to do what they can. Point out to me how many times Lenore Sellers slides. That right there is what's frustrating me, is because you have players like Jackson Dart and Lenore Sellers, and I could probably count off anybody I wanted to in this sport who fumbles when they run the ball. Devin Dampier, for example, is a player I've used a lot, and he fumbles pretty much anytime he gets hit. Why does that happen? Because it's coded into the game to happen, and for competitive play, online play. Offline in a dynasty, I don't want my quarterback fumbling 15 times a season. Moving on. Blocking was a big deal, especially early, and I know that some of it was adjustment based, but it wasn't all adjustment based. And really, the pass blocking was the worst. I can deal with the run game. I don't care if I get 2 yards. I'm fine with 3 yards in a cloud of dust, as a matter of fact. But the pass blocking, it doesn't have to be great, because I don't expect to have more than 2 seconds in the pocket. But it feels like there's somebody missed on every other play, especially when you're dropping back. And it was just really frustrating. And it kind of leads into the next part, which is just improve player IQ, computer IQ, whether that's the user teams or the opponent. I just want better football smarts from my side and the computer. I want my offensive linemen to know who to block. I don't, it's one thing for me to have to tell them or re-identify a mic. I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact, that's how it's supposed to be done. But what's not legit is, when you have your pass blocking schemes are not simple, or, well, they're not hard. Drop back and find a man. The idea that we're seeing untouched defenders come through consistently is a little rough. Just a little bit. defenders not making plays, especially when they get switched onto. It's just like that slight delay in action is extremely frustrating. But all in all, I mean, look, I don't have many complaints about this game. Those are the two things: fumbles and blocking, and then just overall player IQ, which they can tune on and tune on every time they turn around. But the biggest thing is like College Football 25 was an amazing start. The environments again were so amazing. They did a great job capturing the details. I love playing any game I can in Williams-Brice Stadium. I love playing any game I can in the Big House, in Ohio Stadium. I love to go. I had a dynasty where I was at Wisconsin for a while, and I loved playing at home at Wisconsin. I like playing at Ross-Ade Stadium, home or away. Love it. I like going out west and playing at USC, getting a game in up in Autzen Stadium. There are so many beautiful football stadiums, and it's just so amazing how well they did of getting that right. And when you can get that right and capture what college football is all about, you're on to something. It doesn't have to be the perfect game, because it certainly is not. But it's a really good start, and it's a game that I am very excited to see in College Football 26. And I mean, look, I talked about Delaware and Missouri State. My first dynasty is going to be Delaware. Am I going to stream it? No, because I don't want to do that. But that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to play College Football 26, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm gonna do a review on it and let you guys know what I think and how I've enjoyed it or come to enjoy it over time. And yeah, I'm super excited to see how they fix it, what changes they make. I'm not an Ultimate Team player. I don't have anything to add for Ultimate Team or what they should do. Road to Glory, I already mentioned the changes they're going to make. Supposedly there's a mascot mode coming back. I'm excited to see what the ratings look like, see who got over and underrated. It's just, it's really cool to have something to be excited about in July to kind of get us ready for the playing season to kick back off. But again, don't forget, in the meantime, I got preview season kicking off on Sunday, and I'm really excited for that too. So I'll close this out by thanking you guys so much for tuning in. It is, it's just completely awesome of everybody who's been tuning in and checking these videos out. All the recent subscribers, all the support over the last month has been awesome, and I'm really excited to get into these previews and putting out some just really fun content for you guys over the course of the rest of the summer into playing season and all the way through until we get it repeated again there next June. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week if you don't tune back in tomorrow. If not, and if you don't tune back in tomorrow, enjoy your weekend. If you do, make sure you tune in. We got a group of 5 surprise teams, and then we'll see what else we can throw out on the table. I thank y'all again so much, and we will see you in the next one.